So, we're back to this again. It's been about, 2 months maybe, give or take, since I've seen you. Yeah, hopefully you've been enjoying being free, because once we talk about what I have collected as evidence here, not sure you're gonna go back home after today, so let's go ahead and just get started. I'm going to refresh your memory a bit. Now, when we talked last time, you were supposed to provide me with the receipts, the proof of purchase of the, let me look specifically, the multiple articles of the same clothing, different times, same size, color, etc. Remember that? And you mentioned that the same articles of clothing that we need on these receipts just so happens to be exactly what the suspects were wearing that you saw with your own eyes leaving the residence. So, were you able to give me those receipts? Were you able to find those? Nothing. No receipts whatsoever. Well, you do realize the severity of these and how kind of bad for you it looks if we don't, if we're not able to kind of figure out and piece this together to prove your innocence. That's kind of what this is all about. So the fact that you can't provide me with that right away is like ding ding ding, red flag, because there's something wrong here. I told you I'm very good. I've been doing this a long time. My intuition is very good, and I'm hardly ever wrong. So let me just go ahead and put as per what I thought. Not able to show proof of receipts. Now, I did talk to your friend Christine. What a character she is. How long have you been friends with her? Like 6, 7 years? Okay. And over the last 6 to 7 years, how often would you say that you saw Christine? Would you say a weekly basis, bi-weekly, monthly, quarterly? How often do you really spend time together? Okay. And was there ever a romantic relationship with the two of you, or you're just friends, that's it? Oh, just like a little flirtatious here and there. Okay. So here's a couple things I'd like to bring to your attention. Remember the last time we had the meeting, you brought up your friend Morgan, who had allegedly given you the $52,000 back as part of a $100,000 loan that you've given them, right? You remember that? You don't. So, 2 days after the robbery happened, your checking account popped up with a new deposit of $52,000. The last time that you were here, you mentioned to me that that money came as a partial repayment from a friend named Morgan, who you had given a $100,000 loan to in 2018, okay? Oh, you remember now? The problem is, you said that that loan came from an inheritance because your mom passed away. And I gave you my condolences. I said, I'm so sorry about that. That is absolutely terrible. I did look into the county records and pulled the inheritance from the death of her. When we did look at her bank accounts, they were almost empty, so it's not like she had passed away and there was a large lump sum of money unaccounted for. There was pretty much nothing. Let me pull this up. I can tell you the exact amount that was in the account. So after she had passed away, there was $2,142 in the account with 36 cents and change. So where would $100,000 come from? And that is what makes me believe wholeheartedly that that was probably just a lie, a fabricated story, because the $52,000 that was deposited into your account actually came from the estate robbery and everything else that you came up with after that, the valuables that you probably pawned. I know Christine did. We'll get into that. And so I'm thinking that this $100,000 was just a cover story, and it's really sad because you came up with a whole story for no reason. I told you I would figure it out. There's no point in lying, so it's okay. Here I am figuring it out. Now, let's take a look at let me see. So, do you even have a friend named Morgan? Oh, you do? Well, until I see them in the flesh, I won't believe it. So, here we go. There was, just to refresh your memory, there was 2 collectible cars in the garage of the residence valued at $1.2 million US. There was a total value of $320,000 taken of jewelry, valuables, antiques, and cash from this home. Now, I talked to Christine, and of course we had to interview her, and guess what we find? I'll tell you. We find that a deposit for $5,800 was made to her checking account 4 days after said incident. Once we find this out, my partner and I kind of make it a mission to figure out where this money had come from. And as our instincts were right, we checked some of the local pawn shops. As mentioned, there's a bunch here. So 2 of them we find, of course, Christine had visited, and pawned by Christine 2 days after the robbery were jewelry, ancient books and artifacts, and 5 antique gold items, including this little tea kind of pot set, okay? Those were pawned just here in town. So obviously she's not very wise, kind of stupid to do that in town knowing that we're on to you. But okay, sure. So those items were taken back. We have recovered them, and we have those in our possession as part of the many pieces of compiling an ever-growing mound of evidence. Okay, so here's what I want to bring to your attention right now. You see this? Do you know what this is? Yes, it is. Text message conversation between you and Christine. So we pulled the records, obviously, and have located the first text, which seems to be the first mention about the conspiracy to rob this estate. So here we have the text from her to you. Got away to make some cash. Estate sale nearby. Frail older lady. Saw expensive old cars in garage. Wow, you guys are really good people. Your response was, when is this sale? What kind of cars? Christine's response, don't know. Old, expensive. 2 days until sale. I can ask my brother Mike for help. It will be easy in and out job. You said, let's meet tonight at 10 p.m. We can discuss. No more over text, but it's done. That's what you said. Do you remember sending this? Okay. Christine replies with her final message to you and says, agreed. Finally, we will get the money we deserve. No matter what, no backing out. Wow, what a hoot. And you said, and vice versa, I'll prepare. I'll prepare? Sounds like planning and conspiring to me. So again, it's not looking great for you. Now, on top of that, I have more evidence. Let me bring in the next thing. In the next room, I can get it if you absolutely need proof. We have found a discarded straw. Let me back up. So there was camera footage of 3 people. 1, 2, 3. You, Christine, and allegedly Mike on camera meeting at Dairy Queen on Central and 54th the night prior to the robbery. Persons sat at an outside table and were observed talking, looking at phones, pointing at phones, and plotting the act for almost 2 hours before leaving separately. I'll have to pull this up. We have taken that surveillance footage and made a copy for ourselves, and it is clear as the clearest water in the ocean. It's you, and it's Christine, and it's Mike, and we know it's Mike because Mike has previous arrest records, and we have his booking photos. We have plenty of photos of Mike, and his last arrest was pretty recent, so it's pretty undeniable, and like pinpoint, it's him. No questions. So, point is, you all had drinks, milkshakes, I don't know what you had. The straw that was from your drink, which was just discarded in the trash, remember, once you throw something away, it becomes public property, and you may help yourself to it. In most cases, depends on if you're on private property. We were not. So we took the straw and we tested it. We tested it against the rope, the tape, and the gloves, all found at the scene of the incident. Guess whose DNA? It came back as a 1000% match. Identical. There is like a 9 trillionth of a chance that it wouldn't be this person's DNA. Who do you think that is? Yeah, it is yours. So, if I can do one thing for you, which you probably don't deserve, but I feel I am a good person, I'm going to give you some advice. Listen up. Obviously, we can see that you were not the first to conspire this situation. Christine has admitted, we have it in writing, that she was the one planning and trying to execute the plan from the beginning. She's the one that plotted on this house. She came up with the plan. She decided to victimize this poor elder frail lady. Thank God that woman is okay. But we need to know, without any lies, deceit, cover up, trying to lessen the blow, we need to know what your specific part was. We already know you bought the clothes. You bought the clothes, you bought the rope, you bought the gloves, you bought the tape. We have the receipts. Now, what I need you to explain to me is why. What's the motive? What's the reason that you did it? Besides, we will finally get the money we deserve. That's what Christine said, so is it safe to assume, and am I on point here by saying that you probably did it strictly for money as well? So what? You have a lot of debt? You have bills that need to be paid? What's the reason? You have a job. Okay. See, now we're finally getting somewhere with the truth. I can only do so much on my end to lessen the blow for you. Once you're open with me and we figure out a lot of this, get to the bottom of it, I'll talk with people in my district and try to figure out what kind of sentencing we're looking at for you. You're an accomplice. Obviously, you did play a big role in this as well. I'm glad you're admitting to that. It's time to just fess up. It probably feels like a weight lifted off your shoulders, as it should be. But now it's time to deal with the consequences. So, I need you to tell me, and by the way, Mike has already been arrested for violating his probation, so he's back in jail as well, and we've already had multiple meetings with him. Not the sharpest tool in the shed, I have to say. And I need you to tell me, where's the rest of the items? This woman, don't you think she's been through enough after everything? You tie her up, you vandalize her house, you try to take everything she owns, all of her possessions, stuff that she wasn't even selling in the estate sale because it's valuable to her. And you take this, and you pawn it to get some quick cash. Good thing you didn't take the cars. You would have never gotten away with that. I mean, in what world would you have cars that are like that old? They're cars, they're collectibles, they're valuable. You thought you were just going to drive down the street, spray paint it, change the color, and just drive off into the sunset? Yeah, doesn't work like that, Buster. Oh, you were going to sell them. And who's going to buy them? Like, do you not understand how this isn't really making that much sense? This isn't a normal 2018 Honda Civic. These are very ancient, old cars. It's easily traceable. Come on now. Okay, so tell me this. Where's the rest of the cash? I know that there's cash that was stolen. Who has the cash? Do you have the cash? Did you give it to someone to hold for you? Where's the cash? Remember what I said. When you're being as truthful as you can be to me, I will help you get a lesser sentence, a less harsh of a blow. But if you want to lie, and you want to be deceitful, and you want to just keep dragging it on, I'll give you maximum. Stop playing, just tell me. It's buried in whose yard? Your backyard? Whereabouts? Oak tree? Is it an oak tree or is it a weeping willow tree? Which one? We're gonna have to get another warrant to dig up your yard. ASAP. Get a rush order on that. How much money are we talking? 83,000. Okay. Is it in a bag? Is it in a safe? Is it in a bin? A tin? What? Black trash bags. That's all you could come up with? Alright. Alright. Now, can you tell me where are the rest of the jewelry and the other stolen goods from the house? There's antiques, there's gold, there's jewelry, there's valuables. Who has these? Okay, so 3 different pawn shops out of town, you're saying? Where are they located, and can you tell me approximately the distance or how to get there? One's 45 minutes, one's an hour, and one's 2 hours. Okay, do you know the names of them? Do you have receipts? Do you have anything that can show us where these shops are? You know the names? What's the name? That is a very stupid name. Okay, and what's the other one? So are those like, that's the same name, but it's just 2 different shops? So we have 2 different names, but 3 shops. Okay. Alright, sounds good. We'll be having to look into that. You actually might have to go on a ride along with us for that. We'll see. That's only if you have good behavior. So, unfortunately, what this comes down to now, at the end of the day, your DNA is at the crime scene. You've now put yourself at the crime scene. You've mentioned the motive. We have the money being deposited into your account, your accomplice's account, all from items that were stolen from said location and pawned, turned into cash. We have $83,000 buried in your backyard. What is there anything else? Not that you can think of? Alright. Well, I would appreciate if we can keep your cooperation here of just trying to really put back the pieces of this victim's life, because you really did victimize this woman for absolutely no reason. She didn't deserve that. Nobody does. And you guys just should have never done this. I don't even know why you would do that. But can't understand the mind of a criminal. So what I'm going to do is, unfortunately at this time, going to have to place you under arrest. There's going to be probably quite a long list of charges. Right now, you're being charged with conspiracy to commit robbery, robbery with hostage, assault, attempted robbery, and aggravated robbery. So those are the ones right now. There's probably going to be more. Like I said, I'll do what I can to try to minimize this for you. You don't have a record. Seems like a first-time offense. Just why? I don't know. So at this point, what I'm going to have you do, unfortunately, is I'll give you the courtesy of not having to place your hands behind your back, because I know that you're already here in the office. You're not going anywhere. So if you'd like to just keep your hands straight out in front of you, I'd like to see your wrists. I'm going to place these handcuffs on you, and you are now going to become part of our custody. You're not able to leave, and you are under arrest, okay? Okay. Is that too tight? Okay, good. So at this time, I'm going to take all this paperwork, talk to my boss. Believe it or not, I have someone above me, and I'll see what I can do for you, but for now, just sit tight, okay? Alright, thank you for your truth and the honesty, and hopefully we can start piecing everyone's lives back together now.